First, in case you'll be wondering what this stripe is going down my shirt today, I got the bright idea today to bike here and be healthy instead of driving. And the briefcase strap left this mark, so remember that next time you get the bright idea to do something healthy. Have you guys read that it's a good idea in the Toastmasters guide to prepare your opener and not deviate from it, even if you get a better idea just before you begin? I'm going to break that rule tonight because as I was biking here, I'm listening to my iPod to help calm me before my speech. And the first song that comes on is Help I'm Alive by Metric with the lyrics, they're going to eat me alive if I stumble, they're going to eat me alive if I fumble, can you hear my heart beating like a hammer? So anyway, with that positive moment, I'll begin now. Do you remember giving your first public speech? I lost my public speaking virginity when I was 10 years old, grade 6. A year before this, my school chose me to attend a conference for young authors based on a short story I'd written. So now a year later, they asked me to deliver a 2-minute version of that story in front of about 200 parents at a school recital. Now I'm only 10 years old, so like all 10-year-olds, including you when you were 10, I kind of feel I'm master of the universe. So fear of public speaking, I kind of feel that's for losers. So Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, I confidently strut to the podium, as you'd expect of the master of the universe. And as I began speaking into the microphone, I heard my little 10-year-old voice boom and fill this whole gym. My first thought is, yeah, I've worked a long time to get here. I paid my dues my whole life, but now my time has come. At 10 years old, everyone is finally listening to me. My whole life has really been downhill from the initial high I had in that moment because my second thought on stage is a breakthrough, a scientific discovery. Did you know that the human brain starts working from the moment you are born? It never stops until you stand up to speak in public. I forgot the next line of my speech. I couldn't remember what my speech was about. I just stood there dumbfounded like a deer in headlights staring blankly at these parents. 5 seconds, I feel like 5 decades go by. Has this ever happened to you when delivering a speech? In terms of fun, I'd rate this right up there with a root canal, maybe a colonoscopy. Another few seconds go by and I see a few murmurs in the crowd and a couple parents making faces like. Now, I'm suddenly no longer feeling like master of the universe, but I am still the center of the universe for these parents at that moment, staring at me. And I just want to get the hell out of there. Then a miracle happens. My teacher is sitting in the front row. He leans forward and he whispers to me the next line in my speech. I don't know how he knew it, but I still send this guy Christmas cards because the line gets me back on track. I finish my speech. The audience applauds. I conclude that night, though, that though writing is hard work, speaking ain't no cakewalk either. So I'd just like to share with you 3 more stories that I think highlight my lifelong triumphs and mostly disasters in public speaking. The first is from high school. The second is when I'm in university. And the third is from public speaking that I do as a volunteer today. So I did my first high school speech in grade 9 history class. And as I stand before the class, again, my mind goes blank. I'm developing a nice pattern here for those keeping track. So I looked to my history teacher for a bailout, but unlike my grade 6 teacher, she doesn't know any of my lines. Apparently she's just there to grade my speech, which is totally useless. So I say to the class, I'm not ready, I'll have to do this another day. But my history teacher encourages me, she's one of those annoying, perky types. She says, come on Kevin, you can do it. Yeah, I'm appreciating the enthusiasm really, but no, I can't. It'll be all right. I'm gonna just have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there, because no, it's not gonna be all right, okay? A week later, I gave that speech almost verbatim. What I remember though during the speech is a girl sitting right about where Wilson is, and during my speech, her face is misery incarnate. It was half weary, half annoyed, a face that said, if you could induce death by boredom, this is what the victim's face would look like. So after that speech, I figured I gotta be more entertaining, but I also appreciate I can't win over everyone every time. Except for you Toastmasters, I'm expecting a really big applause after this. This is my icebreaker. Come on, throw me a bone. So I do my second speech in university. I go to hear this entrepreneur speak, and as I walk into the auditorium, an organizer says to me, in your best used cars man sales voice, he's like, "How would you like to participate in an elevator pitch contest? Just give a 60-second pitch for a new business idea and you could win $50. I don't have any new business ideas, man. You could just make one up. It's only 60 seconds. Look, man, here's the deal. I gotta have 4 contestants go on before this guy speaks. I only have 3. I need 1 more. What do you say? Give it a shot. So I survey the audience. I see again my grade 6 teachers and here to be my wingman. But neither is that miserable hag from history class, so what the hell? All right, I'll do it. And I win. I get $50 for 60 seconds of my time. It's a pretty good rate. $3,000 an hour if I can charge by the minute. Winning makes me feel I've come a long way as a presenter. Maybe I've even arrived as a good speaker. Maybe I've even retained my rightful title as Master of the Universe. But do you find that just when you think you've mastered something, you then have a humbling experience? That brings me to the summer for my 3rd and final speech story. I volunteer with Junior Achievement, and this summer I facilitated a program called Dream Big, which involves facilitating a 3-hour program in front of about 45 teenagers, and I did it 5 times. The second time I facilitate this program, I walk into a classroom of teenagers that are, what's a polite way to describe these little bastards? They were unruly, a little strong-minded. They were somewhat engaged in my material, but the moment they sense this chump can't seize control of the classroom, they begin to walk all over me. They become increasingly loud, interruptive. By the end of the morning, I'd lost order. After the program, I witnessed an amazing thing. The kids go into a class with a new teacher, and now suddenly these same kids are actively engaged. They're not goofing off. They really lose focus. I just watched astonished. So the teacher explains to me afterward that to get the respect of the kids, you need to immediately establish yourself as the alpha male or the alpha female, as the leader. You need to correct any misbehavior promptly and consistently, affirm a fair way, with direct, simple instructions. Like if a kid lifts his desk, you can't ignore it, and you can't ask the student, "Excuse me, if you don't mind, would you please put that desk down?" You need to tell the student with authority, "Put that desk down." You lead with your body language too, looking directly at students, approaching closer to them to engage or to correct. So the next time I facilitate Dream Big, Mr. Toastmaster, do you think I was able to maintain control in the classroom? You're goddamn right I did. Not only that, the students completed their exercises more thoughtfully. Students and staff said it was an enjoyable, impactful program, and I was asked to come back. So as I reflect from grade 6 to today, I see that developing my speaking has been a lifelong process. Sometimes I do well, sometimes I bomb. I bomb a lot, actually. But I keep practicing it because we all got to make public speeches at one time or another, and I don't want to suck. Do you want to suck? No. But public speaking is hard. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but 3 out of 3 people who do this end up dying eventually. Like I've wanted to give this icebreaker speech for 2 months now, and I just didn't have anything to talk about. My girlfriend said, "What do you mean you don't have anything to talk about? Around me, you never shut up. Why don't you just go give a speech with your little Toastmaster friends and give me a break for a night?" You never shut up, you talk too much. If anyone explains to her actually what that red light means, I'm never going to hear the end of it. But here are my final words. I respect you, Toastmasters, because like you, I've committed to building my speaking and leadership skills, and you all know how hard this is. Winston Churchill, a guy tough enough to stand up to Hitler, acknowledged just how hard speaking is when he said, "There's only 2 things hard than making a speech: climbing a wall that is leaning toward you, and kissing a girl who is leaning away from you." Thanks for not eating me alive, Mr. Toastmaster.